This is the story of a man who died and discovered what truly happens to the soul immediately after death. Through his powerful testimony, you'll come to understand how long the human soul remains on earth before it is taken into eternity. But before we continue, please let me know where you're listening from. It would be nice to feel closer, even if we're physically apart. Also, don't forget to like. It will help this video to reach so many people who need to listen to this testimony, and leave a comment. Share your thoughts about this near-death experience testimony. Let's have a fair and open discussion so we can learn from each other here on this channel. And don't forget to subscribe for more of this content coming your way. Enjoy listening. I never saw myself as someone deeply spiritual. I wasn't the mystical type, nor did I think much about the afterlife. My name is Ibrahim Joseph. I'm 47 years old. Until one afternoon, I was just an ordinary factory worker, trying to make ends meet. I had worked for over a decade at an engine plant in the countryside of Minas Gerais. My days were routine: wake up early, ride the crowded bus, clock in at the warehouse with its heavy scent of oil and iron, come home to my wife, eat, and fall asleep watching TV. I believed in God, like most people do, but it was more out of tradition than conviction. I'd show up in church on Christmas and Easter, say a quick prayer before traveling, and that was about it. But everything changed on a regular Tuesday. Around 3 p.m. I was working on the hydraulic press, adjusting a heavy aluminum piece. I hadn't slept well the night before, and my head had felt foggy since lunch. But I pushed through like always. Then I began to feel this cold sweat and a strange tightness in my chest. It was as if a block of cement was slowly pressing down from the inside. I tried to shake it off, but the next thing I knew, everything slowed down. The machine stopped by itself. My co-workers were running toward me, but their movements were like slow motion in a dream. And then, silence. Absolute silence. But the strangest part was, even though I was lying motionless on the floor, I was also standing. I saw myself, my body on the ground. I watched as my co-workers panicked and tried to revive me. I was there, and yet not there. There was no fear, just an eerie calm. I looked at what should have been my hands, and noticed they were glowing faintly, almost see-through. The colors around me were sharper. Sounds were muffled but carried a deep emotional tone. That's when I knew this wasn't a dream or a hallucination. I had left my body, and what happened next is something I'll carry forever. Out of nowhere, a presence appeared, not a blur or a shadow, but a vivid and powerful form. I didn't need to ask who it was. I knew it was Jesus Christ. His presence was overwhelming, not like a man from a painting or book. This was complete. His gaze was sharp and loving at the same time, piercing into the deepest parts of me without saying a word. I understood immediately that I was on holy ground, standing on the edge of life and eternity. He stretched out his hand. I didn't hesitate. I followed, no walking, just gliding, leaving the chaos of the factory behind. Sirens, shouts, my lifeless body, they all faded. We entered a space I can only describe as eternal. It wasn't like anything I'd ever seen, yet somehow it felt familiar. There was no sun, no light source, but everything glowed softly, illuminating not just my surroundings but also my soul. It felt like I had nothing to hide. Everything about me was visible. We kept moving. Jesus walked ahead, and I followed, feeling like I was being drawn into a story. And when he finally stopped, I turned, and there before me was what I can only call a window of time. Through it I saw my entire life. Every moment, every choice, every word I had ever spoken. I could feel the emotions all over again. My joy, my anger, my pride, my pain. Nothing was missing. But Jesus didn't just show me my life. He helped me understand it. Things I thought were small and unimportant turned out to be huge. Acts of kindness I had forgotten had ripple effects far beyond what I imagined. And careless words I had spoken without thinking had caused more pain than I ever realized. It wasn't condemnation. It was clarity. It was the truth, raw and unfiltered. At some point, I began to feel a question rising within me, not spoken, but deeply felt. What does it really mean to live? In response, Jesus didn't speak out loud, but I understood everything. Living, he showed me, isn't just surviving day to day. It's about purpose. Each moment is a gift. Each decision has eternal value. Men count time in years, he seemed to say, but I see eternity in each soul. I realized how often I had chosen comfort over meaning. I remembered a fight I had with my mother years ago, something I thought was minor, but I saw the pain in her eyes, and I understood, even the smallest act leaves a mark. And I saw moments when I had helped someone, a simple smile, a small favor, and how those seeds had grown in ways I never imagined. Nothing goes unnoticed. Then the vision changed again. I was no longer seeing just my life. I was being shown creation, from Genesis, like a living story. I saw the earth being formed, the skies, the seas, the stars, but it wasn't just seeing. I could feel the love and intention behind every detail. Every leaf, every wave, every breath was a sign of God's hand. I felt small, but also treasured. Then I was shown something else, my final moment on earth. Not the collapse in the factory, but the moment my soul would permanently return to God. Jesus pointed, and I saw that my days had been numbered even before I was born. Before you took your first breath, he said to my heart, I knew the count of your days. This shook me. Had I really used my time well? Had I lived for eternity, or just for the now? I couldn't escape the truth. Time on earth is short, but what we carry beyond it is eternal. Then he revealed to me what happens immediately after death. No wandering spirits, no waiting, just a direct transition, either into the presence of God or into separation. That shocked me. There was no gray area, no second chance. The choices we make now shape our eternal destination. Death, I realized, is not the end. It's the beginning of something even more real. And then, the most astonishing part. Before us appeared what I can only call a boundary of light. It was not physical, but deeply spiritual. I saw souls crossing it. Those who had given their lives to Christ were led by angels into an atmosphere of rest, peace, and unspeakable joy. There was music, not like our music, but a harmony that went straight to the soul. No fear, no pain, but I also saw the other side. Souls who had rejected the truth, those who had chosen to live only for themselves, entered a place of sorrow. Not just pain, but regret. The kind of regret that screams silently for what was lost. I remembered the words of Hebrews 9:27. It is appointed unto man once to die, and after this the judgment. Judgment wasn't far off. It was immediate. I felt Jesus' presence stronger than ever, not condemning, but calling, showing me that life is fragile, time is precious, and eternity is certain. Then, just as suddenly, I was back. I woke up in the hospital. I had suffered a massive cardiac episode. The doctors said I was lucky to be alive, but I knew better. I wasn't just lucky. I was rescued, given another chance, a chance to tell this story. Now I live differently. I pray with purpose. I love more intentionally. I see every moment as sacred. My faith is no longer tradition, it's conviction, because I know what's real. I've seen it. I share this with you not to scare you, but to wake you up. Life is short. Eternity is real. Jesus is calling. Your need to answer him now. Now you've heard my story. I died, and in those quiet moments after my last breath, I saw something most people don't know. The soul doesn't leave the body right away. It stays for a while. It watches everything. It hears what people say. It even feels what's going on. Even though my body was dead, I was still aware, and in that moment, I realized I wasn't ready. I'm sharing this with you because life is short. It can end in a second, and once your soul is finally taken away, there's no coming back. I was shown mercy, but not everyone will get that second chance. Please don't wait. Get your life right with God now. Say sorry, forgive others, and live like someone who is ready. Because when death comes, it doesn't warn you, but eternity is still waiting, and you still have time to choose where you'll spend it. So I'm encouraging you today to make a right choice today, and as you do so, may God bless you. If you have listened to this testimony to this end, congratulations, Please, I will love you to do one thing for me. Please like this video, share to 1 or 2 persons who you will love to listen to this testimony. Also, do not forget to subscribe for more of this testimony coming your way. Remain blessed.